penny into into Palestine. They sent the settlers out there. They paid all of their expenses, bought the land for them, set up great operations, wineries, and agricultural things. All that was Rothschild money.
And all the controversy right now going on in there between the Palestinians, that's just got to be a big banking operation, it seems to me, connected with oil.
Oh, very much so. If you go to the state of Israel, you'll see the main street is called Rothschild Boulevard. The entire Israeli parliament was donated by Jacob Rothschild of London. In other words, imagine if a private American donated the entire building of the United States. And that's what happened in Israel. It was all donated by the Rothschilds.
Eustace, first of all, congratulations on all your outstanding work you've done through the years. I've known and heard of you for a number of years myself. I've been in the issue myself for some 20 years. But back in 1950, I haven't been able to confirm it yet, maybe you can help me, that the Senate Intelligence Committee put out a 3 or 4 volume report which listed all the communists in America and all their affiliations. Eleanor Roosevelt was in there, supposedly. I don't know how many lists of organizations she belonged to. And when LBJ came into office, the word I have is that he ordered that all of them be destroyed. And I understand there are 7 or 8 of them that have not been destroyed. Do you have any idea where I might be able to find one of those?
I really do not, because, of course, when they order those books destroyed, they're pretty thorough. Now, I do know that in the Army and Department of State, now whether it's under Truman or not, I'm not sure, all files concerning communist affiliation of government employees were destroyed. The whole Army was totally cleaned out. And in fact, when I knew Joe McCarthy, he still depended on the FBI for a lot of information. Bob Serene was the main person who was bringing him information. And they fired Bob Serene later on, too, unfortunately. But, yeah, McCarthy's information came from the FBI.
I'm aware of that. And liaison from, I was in the FBI 27 years, by the way. And the second question I'd like to ask you is, I've contended, having no documentation, of course, that the downfall of the wall in Berlin and the downfall of communism was all a facade in order for us to weaken our defenses and cut back and take over the country, Canada and the United States from within. How do you feel about that?
Oh, that's absolutely true. There was a Soviet defector named Golinsky. You may know his book. And Golinsky outlined all this in detail about 15 or 20 years ago. And Golinsky's book is hard to find, but it's all in there.
Excuse me, go ahead.
Sure.
Isn't Golinsky the defected general who said that Clinton was in Moscow for 3 years during his youth and was being trained by the KGB?
Oh, yes. Clinton had advanced training in Moscow.
Was that Golinsky's book?
I'm not sure if it's Golinsky or not, but there are other sources on that. There's no question about it.
Right.
Clinton, well, now some people claim that Clinton was actually a CIA operative, which is possible too, you know, because you know yourself, you have double agents, triple agents, quadruple agents. And so we all have this idea that a person can only work for one group at a time. In fact, a guy who has ability, everybody wants him, and they don't care if he's a double or triple agent. They want him on their side. So a lot of these people work for 4 or 5 different outfits.
Okay, thank you very much.
Surely.
Good morning. I've studied John Nelson's work. Are you familiar with John?
John Nelson?
John Nelson.
In Colorado?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I've been correspondent.
One of the things that he really hammered home in some of his information is that you cannot contract with yourself. In all notes, legal tender, have 2 signatures on it representing the government, of which if you can't contract with yourself, one of them's not of local properties. Therefore, all dollars are really international obligations. And when going into court, therefore, in a tax issue, you should be pleading international law because what they're collecting from you is an international obligation. Would you concur with that theory?
Well, obligations are contractual, and they're covered by the law. And the only thing you can do to protect yourself is uphold your contractual obligations and hope that the other side upholds theirs. And this is where legal ability comes in, because if they don't uphold their contractual obligations, then you have the ability to sue them. But there again, it's an adversary situation, and what it comes down to is your individual responsibility to defend your own interests. And you cannot defend your own interests by going out and hiring a lawyer or by going into a court and expecting justice, because any judge in the States and probably Canada also, as Ernest Zundel can tell you, you go into a court looking for justice, the judges laugh their heads off. They know it doesn't exist.
Thank you.
I'd just like to know what you feel about that Columbine massacre that happened there a couple of years ago. In the school,
Oh, I got that
in the
Columbine.
schools there.
Well, the whole Columbine episode was part of Clinton's gun control operation. And the two alleged students who did this, we don't know whether they did or not. We don't know if they were fired a shot, as a matter of fact. But they were on very strong medication. And with that kind of medication, you get hallucinations, delusions, and you also come under mind control. I'm sure Kathy could tell you a lot about that. So if they did what they did it because they were under mind control, because teenagers normally do not shoot their fellow students, nor do they commit suicide. But you see, under mind control, once you have carried out the operation, then you are instructed to commit suicide. So that it must have been a standard mind control operation.
Eustace, I hate to monopolize the questions, but I'm going to give you one more question.
Surely.
And an observation. I noticed in these school shootings and church shootings, I've contended all along it was CIA mind control in most instances.
Oh, yes.
In order to pass the legislation that would do away with the Second Amendment, right to bear arms. I noticed the newspaper articles the first day or maybe a day and a half after the shootings, where they go in and search the homes of the shooters. In about half of them, the newspapers reported they found satanic drawings in the homes.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I've been involved in, investigating Satanism for a number of years, and I contend that these shootings are not only CIA mind control, but dovetails into the satanic movement itself. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, definitely. In fact, many adolescents are taken by these games like Guns and Dragons and all this sort of stuff. So there's a lot of that. It appeals to the adolescent mind, this sort of stuff, because it's costumes and rituals and excitement and different from the mundane world that they live in. So they're very susceptible to this. And once they get into it, then they're drawn into rituals and drugs and so forth. And some of them are already on drugs anyway. So they're simply being manipulated because adolescents are very easy to manipulate because they're inexperienced and they're responsive to adults, and so they're easy to control.
Okay, last one. No problem.
Okay. What's your view on the Masonic movement?
Well, I've written about that extensively in my book, The Curse of Canaan, and I trace it back 5,000 years to the original Babylon and to Nimrod. Nimrod was the first Masonic ruler of the of the world, and he ruled by total evil. And of course, they had their satanic rituals, and they had human sacrifice. You name it, they had it. And that's been more continuous throughout history. As I point out in The Curse of Canaan, they periodically have to go underground because their crimes are exposed. And so they go underground and disappear and reappear as something else a couple of hundred years later. You have to have a long time frame in order to study these things because, as I say, these movements may totally disappear for 300 years and then they appear in another country in a total different guise. So you just have to watch for the telltale signs, what they do and what kind of people are doing it. And so it's a matter of observation and experience. You have to know what to look for. It's like any investigative work. If you don't know what you're looking for, it's not going to come up and hit you in the head. You've got to go find it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we do have to wrap up. Tape time, I think, is probably coming to an end, and we have to get on to the rest of the speakers. So, Eustace Malone, thank you very, very much for your work. That was wonderful.
Oh, yeah.